Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Friday evening, August 15, 2025. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you all like this video. I'd really appreciate it if you all get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak month of Atlantic hurricane season. That's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Please ensure that you all utilize the progress bar that's located at the bottom of the video, as well as the timestamps that are located not only in the comment section but the video description, so that you can skip to the points in the video that you want to see the most in order to save time, because we know that the videos over here with the Jamaica can be very long. Leave a comment down below letting me know what the weather's been like in your area recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Taking a look at the U.S. National Hurricane Center 7-day graphical tropical weather look that came out at 7:50 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is actually 6:50 p.m. Jamaica time, we can see that we still have Hurricane Erin right here, just to the northeast of the Lesser Antilles, and we have a brand new Codiella right here off the east coast of the U.S. And if we take a look at the infrared satellite imagery, we can see all of the clouds, showers, and thunderstorms associated with Erin right here. Definitely bring some bad weather as we speak to portions of the Leeward Islands. We can see some leftover clouds associated with some, troughing, if not leftover frontal systems. That's been the case for the entire hurricane season. And that area that was across the Gulf has now moved inland into portions of northeastern Mexico and southern Texas, so it definitely won't be developing at all. If we focus our attention on what is stated here regarding that Codiella of the east coast of the US, they've stated that a broad area of low pressure located offshore the coast of North Carolina is producing disorganized showers and thunderstorms. Some slight development is possible over the weekend while the low drifts slowly toward the southeast over the warm waters of the Gulf Stream, remaining offshore. By Monday, environmental conditions are expected to become unfavorable for further development, and with that they've given the area a 10% chance of cyclone formation within the next 2 days and a 10% chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days. I wonder that if something should form after Erin, the next name on the list is Fernand. But regarding Hurricane Erin, now we can see it right here, definitely looking formidable, definitely starting to have that classic buzzsaw kind of look to it. As you can see here, all of the high cloud tops fanning out, all of the deep convection associated with the central dense overcast, and we can even see an eye starting to clear out somewhere in here. And look at the deep convection surrounding the eye, all of the reds, blacks, grays, purples, very deep convection. We can also see the Leeward Islands over here, Antigua and Barbuda, Montserrat, St. Kitts and Nevis, Guadeloupe, Dominica, all of these islands starting to get in on the outer bands of the system, with more of that bad weather to come as the evening progresses into tonight. And if we take a look at the Euro Ensemble Spaghetti model plot, still in consensus that the system should be passing just to the north of the Leeward Islands. The GFS Ensemble Spaghetti models also in agreement with that, expected to turn to the north and pass just between the United States and Bermuda, as you can see here, becoming a major hurricane. The intensity model guidance still in agreement that it should make it all the way up to category 3, category 4 status. We'll see how that plays out. We know category 3 basically anywhere from 111 to category 5 anywhere from 157 or more, and that's what major hurricanes are. But they're stating that it should be either a category 3 or a category 4, and according to the Hurricane Center, their latest that just came out at 8 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time, which is actually 7 p.m. Jamaica time, we can see that it is currently packing maximum sustained winds of 85 miles per hour. And if we take a look at the Saffir-Simpson hurricane wind scale, we know that anywhere from 74 to 95 mile per hour winds definitely considered a category 1 hurricane. So if it's packing maximum sustained winds of 85 miles per hour right now, definitely a category 1 as we speak, definitely going to be increasing in intensity as time goes on. As of right now, we still have tropical storm warning, watches up in the yellows right here across a portion of the Leeward Islands. It is currently moving towards the west-northwest at 17 miles per hour, and we can see that it should maintain hurricane status even as we get into 2 p.m. on Saturday. Then by 2 a.m. on Sunday, we see that it makes it up to M. That represents major hurricane status, and that should be the order of the intensity as we head into mid-week. This is 2 p.m. on Wednesday, and we see that it still should be a major hurricane by that time. And the tropical storm force wind speed probability is still high, just a 5 to at least a 25% chance of tropical storm force winds across portions of the northeastern Caribbean. The brunt of the tropical storm force wind should be out to sea, affecting shipping lanes, if not the fishes at sea. But clearly, the amount of rainfall that the northeastern Caribbean is going to be receiving, we know it could trigger some amount of isolated flash flooding. We see the light greens, we see the greens that represents anywhere from 1 to 2 all the way up to 2 to 4 inches of rainfall. That's about 25 to 50 or 50 to 100 millimeters of rainfall. And clearly the brunt of the rainfall should be to the north of there. All of the yellows, oranges, all of this anywhere from 4 to 12 inches of rainfall, 100 to about 300 millimeters of rainfall, but that's going to be out to sea for sure. So it's not going to be, causing that crazy flooding, if not mudslides at all, because it's going to be out at sea. And even the supercomputer model runs right here, confirming what's expected. The Euro model right here showing 12Z on Tuesday, August 19, which is actually 7 a.m. on Tuesday, and this is where Erin should be at the time, just to the north of Hispaniola. The GFS definitely in consensus with where the Euro has it, just to the north of there for sure. And then we're heading all the way out to the 162-hour mark. So we're looking at 6Z on Friday, August 22. So this is 1 a.m. on Friday, and we are starting to see some moisture push into portions of the Leeward Islands. Could be associated with the next tropical wave, but although the Euro is showing more of moisture, not really organized, no isobars, no contour lines, no low pressure, the GFS on the other hand, for the same time period, Friday, August 22, and we have to look at these now because they are within the 7-day time frame, and we know that the GFS usually is wrong when it comes to tropical cyclogenesis, and we know the Hurricane Center believes most of what the Euro shows. Trust me, if the Euro was showing this, if the Euro was showing what the GFS is showing, trust me, we would have had a code yellow up by now, but we don't really see it on the Euro, but we see it on the GFS, and we know that the GFS loves to drop these kind of things. Sometimes it shows something coming, and then by the next run of the GFS, it's gone, and then all of the people who are spreading the misinformation, they get caught up with the GFS craziness. But we have to pay close attention. We see some moisture that should be affecting the Leeward Island by early Friday morning, August 22. The GFS doesn't show that moisture across the Leeward Islands, but it does show some moisture associated with a possible tropical system trying to develop just to the east of there. We'll have to pay close attention to see exactly what tries to develop by the end of next week, and I will definitely be here to keep you posted with whatever occurs. Taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see that we have a tropical wave somewhere across the central Caribbean, and we have Hurricane Erin right here, and to the east of there we have a tropical wave just to the west of the Cabo Verde Islands, and there's actually another tropical wave just to the east of the Cabo Verde Islands, just coming off of Africa. And we see that all of these entities are being steered from east-west, all courtesy of the ridge of high pressure to the north. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images, we're going to be confirming all of what we just saw on the surface map. I think these are the clouds associated with the tropical wave affecting the waters to the south of Hispaniola. We can definitely see the clouds associated with Hurricane Erin fanning out, having that spiraling look. Definitely a hurricane in the making, well, a major hurricane in the making. There's supposedly another tropical wave right here just to the west of the Cabo Verde Islands, and another one right in here. We can definitely see this one exiting the coast of Africa. All of these entities being steered from east-west, all courtesy of the ridge of high pressure to the north. We will be talking more about the weather across the rest of the Caribbean later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Friday, August 15, 2025. It was stated that rainfall could have been in the forecast for parts of some northern and eastern parishes early on Friday morning, also affecting section of some central and western parishes on Friday afternoon. We know northern parishes, we're talking about those parishes on top, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. Eastern parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey, like Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, and St. Andrew. While central parishes and western parishes for the afternoon, we know central parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex, like St. Anne, St. Mary, Manchester, Clarendon, and St. Catherine. While western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. And what ended up happening? At around 2:15 p.m., the infrared close-up satellite image of Jamaica was posted not only here on our Twitter page over the Jamaica, but it was also posted on our Instagram page over the Jamaica, on our TikTok page over the Jamaica, and on our Facebook page over the Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there as we make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So at around 2:15 p.m., the infrared satellite image was posted and it highlighted what was predicted. We definitely had some clouds, bring some overcast skies, if not some thunderstorms in sections of central and western Jamaica. We mainly had cloudy conditions in the east as expected. But wherever you see all of the sparkling white dots, that's where we know that there are actually, some amount of crazy thunderstorms, rainfall taking place. And we see the blues into the greens, yellows, oranges, and reds that indicate the cumulonimbus cloud cover. Definitely had the thunderstorm activity across sections of Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Catherine, St. Anne, sections of Trelawney, sections of Hanover and Westmoreland. Definitely gotten on the action at that time. Then at around 2:37 p.m., the live camera from Sea Jamaica's YouTube channel was posted as well, highlighting the moderate to heavy rainfall that was taking place downtown Kingston. We can see right here a bit of slight flooding right here on the roadside. This is nothing new. Some decent rainfall. This is the first time in a long time I've seen so much rainfall downtown for sure. I'm sure that they're indeed grateful for the rainfall that took place. And by around 3:45 p.m., about an hour later, the infrared satellite images were posted again, and they highlighted the thunderstorms still affecting portions of especially southern Jamaica. I mean, look at the deep convection across sections of Clarendon, blacks into the grays, lots of sparkling white dots that represent lightning strikes. Manchester, St. Elizabeth getting in on some of the action, so too sections of St. James, section of Kingston, St. Andrew still getting in on the action. Didn't get that much of anything across Portland or St. Thomas at all. I live in St. Thomas, just clouds, blocking out the sunshine. That was basically it. And the visible satellite images right here confirming what took place today. I definitely had some deep convection, some afternoon diurnal convection during the afternoon for sure, just as predicted, especially across sections of some central and western parishes. The infrared right here confirming the thunderstorms, and as you can see by the time of recording, all of the thunderstorms starting to die off. We also see the cloud toss being sheared off towards the east southeast, as you can see right there. And if we take a look at the live camera here from Sea Jamaica's YouTube channel, this was at around 2:06 p.m. We can definitely see that it was sunny for the most part in Westmoreland, well, in Little London, Westmoreland at that time. That was 4:06 p.m. Nothing in the way of bad weather taking place at all. People walking about, going about their business. Sunny conditions for the most part. They're used to the rainfall, so a day or afternoon without it, I'm sure they're grateful. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just visit Sea Jamaica on YouTube. They have these live streams all for you all to view for free. So subscribe today so that you don't miss out. The total accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website does paint quite the picture for we had that rainfall today, especially across sections of some central and western parishes for sure. That's where the brunt of the rainfall was. Even although these rainfall totals aren't accurate, we can see that it does, give us the gist of where we had that rainfall. And we definitely have some comments, a lot of comments that came in today to confirm the weather across the island today. From our followers, we have Jason Forsyth on our Twitter page stating, we got some rain here in Kingsland, Manchester earlier. We had Jay Ann stating, raining heavily in Mobay also 3 hours ago. Of Gelding Prime stating, when you say rain is expected, this is what we mean. Alright, boss. We also have Wealthy Kids stating, we're getting a lot of rain here in Portmore. We have Ricardo James stating, Kingston bingo today, Friday, I guess. And we also have a Mix Up stating, Portmore get some nice rain, We also have Wealthy Kid stating, I wish there was a live camera in Portmore because the place is flooded. We also have Christopher stating, finally rain. We also have One Sejina MNAXO stating, yeah man, rain in the halfway tree. Judine, the artist stating rain in Portmore. Even on our Facebook page we had some comments coming in. Natoya Peterkin stating raining in Stony Hill for hours. We have Eileen Bent stating getting rain in my part of Clarendon, so grateful. We have Tanya Campbell Wilson stating got and still getting rain here in Kingston 8. Thank God. We need the water so the restrictions from National Water Commission can be eased a bit. We even had some comments on our Instagram page. We had Gold Palache stating Portmore people just happy so. We have vodka underscore and underscore vibes underscore stating thank you God for the rain, we needed it. We also have key underscore the millionaire stating heavy rain in halfway tree era, it was well needed. Vashana underscore Hamilton stating little droplets upper Hillshire my dear, like me happy go in a Kingston. Are you sure about that? Because trust me, when Kingston is ready to be hot and dry. We also have First Lady Sage sitting rain in Mandeville. Edwards Tanisha sitting got a little shower in South Manchester, not like yesterday though. However, the thunder was heavy. We also have CC.Melanin stating yes, thunderstorm and rain currently here in Kingston. Miss Duchess Chris stating yes, finally getting some rain and I'm glad and all, but I feel bad that my window is open. That's crazy. I hope that it didn't go home to a mess. We also have Designer Sprite stating thunder showers in St. Catherine underscore Nikki underscore official underscore 101 stating heavy rain and thunder in Mandeville. Also have That's God's Girl stating Miss Me happy. We have a Girl Child stating nicey. We also have Kel 4011 stating God we give you thanks that Portmore got rain today. We had Chrissy Anderson 94 stating rain in Portmore as well. Even on our threads page we had the comments coming in. Nurse White 69 stating very heavy on the boulevard into Kingston 20. We also have Carl Miles stating raining in Mobe. And we had some comments even on our YouTube platform. Active 4081 stating raining and heavy wind in Clarendon with the Jamaica. Thanks for confirming. We have O'Neill Shamble stating in Manchester South East St. Elizabeth dark cloud and lightning breeze. Dwayne Knight 1126 stating Manchester and Clarendon getting thunder showers. We also have Sandra Brown 2882 stating Portmore thunder, lightning and showers. Thank you Jesus. We have Rio Compassion stating good evening, rain and so powerful in St. Andrew. Randy stating good evening with the Jamaica. We got some rain and thunderstorm in Brownstown, St. Anne. And finally we have a comment right here, Ben Love 8520 stating getting thunder, overcast skies and drizzling in Spanish Town. MTNT stating what, the whole island? No, this is a rare sight, but anyways we down here in South Manchester getting fog. Alright, thank you all for confirming what the weather was like in your ear today. Let us reload the very latest still image from the Weather Nerds website. Let us reload the very latest Doppler radar imagery from the Jamaican Doppler radar side. Let us reload the very latest Cuban Doppler radar, the very latest Guantanamo Bay US Navy radar, the latest Cayman radar. Let us see what's happening right now. Alright, so this is the latest infrared satellite image that just came out at 0025 UTC, which is actually 7:25 p.m. So this just came out 8 minutes ago, considering that it is 7:33 p.m. right now. As you can see, some of the leftover clouds from today's afternoon thunderstorms still across portions of southern Jamaica. As a matter of fact, still across the entire island, we see all of the whitish shades represent the high cloud tops, maybe some cirrus clouds. We definitely have some decent cloud cover across section of the south central areas and the blues and the greens. Definitely not seeing the stars over there. The Jamaican Doppler radar broke down. Let us see. The Cuban Doppler radar broke down as well. We can see it stopping right here at around 7:10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Is actually 6:10 a.m. Jamaica time. At that time, we saw some rain bands just to the north of us. So that rainfall that was predicted for the morning didn't really come to fruition at all like it did yesterday. We saw the rain band more so across the waters to our north, not on land at all. The Guantanamo Bay US Navy radar, on the other hand, showing some rain bands right here just to the west of Guantanamo, some rain bands right here just to the west of the western peninsula of Haiti, pushing towards the south. Nothing affecting Jamaica as we speak. The Cayman radar, on the other hand, showing some of that rainfall across western portion of southeastern Cuba, like what we saw on the Guantanamo Bay radar. Don't see much of anything across western Jamaica for the most part, but we do see some isolated shores just to the west of the Cayman Islands right now. Taking a look at what's happening right now according to the live camera here from Sea Jamaica's YouTube channel, showing the Barbican area, we can see it's definitely dried out. Definitely had the rainfall today. If I roll back the camera, I'm pretty sure we're going to see it soaking wet for sure to confirm that they did indeed get some rainfall today. But as you can see right now, all of that rainfall has dried out. People walking about, going about their business, people in their vehicles going about their business. Nothing in the way of bad weather should be taking place this evening. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can see that we're at 28 degrees Celsius in both Montego Bay and Kingston, and by about 4 a.m. on Saturday, temperature should dip down to about 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 25 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is valid for 18:00 on Saturday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Saturday, and we can see Jamaica right here embedded in the grays and even some slight blues on the north coast. That we know represents average to slightly below average temperature. So anywhere from the average, we know the average for the month of August across Jamaica is around 91 degrees Fahrenheit, and when that's converted to degrees Celsius that we use here in Jamaica, that's around 32.8 degrees Celsius. So given that we should be getting average to slightly below average, at least 1 degree Celsius below average temperatures tomorrow, courtesy of the blues that we see here, especially on the northeastern side, it should be anywhere from 31.8 to 32.8 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Saturday. And unfortunately, we have a few maintenance outage advisories here from my JPS Online Twitter page that we have to highlight. And we know that we have to highlight these because we know that when we're power outages somewhere across the island, it can definitely make the heat feel even worse because we don't have our fan or our AC to cool us down. So if you live or work in these areas, or if you have friends or relatives who live or work in these areas, please let them know that a power outage is coming their way on Saturday, August 16, 2025. We're referring to Sharper Lane in the parish of St. Catherine from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. We're also referring to Harbour Drive, Coral Way, Neptune Avenue, Surf Avenue, and Bayshore Park, all in the parish of St. Andrew from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. And we have some tips right here to beat the heat as usual. It states here, dress down, wear lightweight clothing and use sunscreen. Check on others including children, elderly people with medical conditions and pets. Be cool, stay indoors and make use of fans and air conditioners. Avoid alcohol and caffeine as they can make dehydration worse. Limit non-essential strenuous activity during the hottest parts of the day. And I cannot stress enough the importance of keeping hydrated throughout the day. Drink lots of water even if you're not thirsty, and put away those sugar drinks and drink water instead. Taking a look at the dry air map, we can see that Hurricane Erin is definitely eroding most of the dry air that was across the basin right in here, but we still see a lot of dry air. We know that the dry air is represented by what we see here on the key on the bottom. That's the yellows, the oranges, the reds, and the whites within those regions. We see a lot of dry air extending from Africa across the main development region just to the north of Erin and to the west of there, extending into the central Caribbean. We know the dry air is responsible for keeping the atmosphere stable, making it harder for it to rain, but we're liking that we're seeing more moist air in the blues across the intertropical convergence zone, across the western main development region, the eastern Caribbean, the western Caribbean, the Gulf of the east coast of the United States, and in and around Central America. You notice wherever we have the blues, that's where we have the gray clouds, and wherever we have the clouds, that's where we're getting more rainfall, and that's what we want. We want more moisture, we want more clouds, we want more rainfall to keep water in our pipes. But regarding the Saharan dust forecast, we're heading into August 16, 17, and 18, the next 3 days. And we can clearly see Jamaica right here in the clear, not much in the way of Saharan dust at all. We can see some Saharan dust though right behind Hurricane. This is where Hurricane Erin should be. We see it right in here spinning away and pushing, if you can make it out, to the northwest. And then look at that, some Saharan dust right behind it should be pushing into the Eastern Caribbean, the Lesser Antilles, by August 18, and you know it eventually will make it to the west. So more Saharan dust will eventually get to Jamaica. We just hope that many persons have their meds handy, because know that it causes, you know, the sinuses, if not some asthmatic issues in some persons. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, it makes sense that the highest waves across the entire Atlantic basin is right where we have Hurricane Erin. We're expecting anywhere from 2.5 meter wave heights all the way up to maybe 6 or more meter wave heights for sure, especially out to sea. So the Leeward Islands definitely going to be getting on the rough seas for sure, and that's because of the strong winds, the strong hurricane force wind spinning around Hurricane Erin in that anti-clockwise fashion for sure, all the way up to the 85-mile-per-hour wind gusts. It makes sense. All of these greens into the yellows, into the oranges, and the burgundies representing that hurricane force wind in knots, not miles per hour. But if we zoom in on Jamaica's wave forecast, on the north coast tomorrow, 1.2 meter wave height just to the north of Portland, to the south of St. Thomas, 1 meter wave height, to the north of St. Anne, 1 meter wave height, to the south of Clarendon, 0.44 meter wave height, to the north of, there we go. So to the north of Hanover tomorrow, that is about 0.7 meter wave height, to the south of Westmoreland, 0.44 meter wave height. And that's because of the winds that are expected. We see more of a northeasterly flow across the island tomorrow, and that's good for us on the south coast, because that means more afternoon rainfall for us. Well, look at that, 11 knots to the north of Portland, 11 knots to the north of St. Anne, 12 knots to the north of Hanover. And look at where we have the least amount of winds. We have the least amount of winds across sections of some southern parishes. That is where we could have those low-level clouds becoming mid-level rain clouds, if not upper-level cumulonimbus clouds. And then we get in on that daytime heating rainfall. And we're going to be confirming it with the rainfall forecast map. But if it's a northeasterly flow, I wouldn't be surprised if northern Jamaica gets in on some morning rainfall. They usually get in on that, especially the northeast, maybe St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. So let us see. Either way, the upper level winds, this is the wind shear map. As you can see, where we have Erin, or where Erin should be by 18 on Saturday 1 p.m. Not really sitting in that strong of a wind shear kind of area. We know the wind shear is represented by what we see here on the key on the right. The whites, the blues, the greens, yellows, oranges, and reds. Not really a strong wind shear at all. So it explains why the system should be, expected to become a major hurricane. Across Jamaica, not really much in the way of wind shear at all. Looks like the wind shear is coming out of the north on the west side and on the east side from the south. Interesting. Either way, in terms of the actual rainfall forecast maps here, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both valid for 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 10 a.m. Jamaica time. And what do both maps show for Jamaica's rainfall forecast? We see the blues represent rainfall across sections of St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland, maybe even sections of St. Thomas. And we see that on both the Euro and the GFS models. That's where we see the agreement on both models. And then by afternoon now, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 3 p.m. Jamaica time. What do we see? The Euro showing rainfall across the eastern to the western end. But I'm more inclined to believe what the GFS is showing. Yes, we see the rainfall in the blue across the eastern to the western end, but it's more confined to the southern parishes. Look at where we have the darkest blues. We're talking about sections of maybe eastern Westmoreland, southeastern Hanover, southern St. James, section of St. Elizabeth, southern Trelawney, section of Manchester, southwestern St. Anne, section of Clarendon, section of St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrews, section of St. Thomas. Emphasis on the sections of St. Thomas, because I live here and I really want some rainfall. You can even see some rainfall still affecting portions of St. Mary and Portland, and they've been getting on that rainfall since the morning. So it's going to be a very interesting day. Clearly, morning rainfall for some northern and eastern parishes, afternoon rainfall for sections of some, let's say, southern and northeastern parishes. We'll see how it actually plays out, and even the total accumulated precipitation forecast maps are in agreement that is going to be raining somewhere in Jamaica within the next 24 hours. The Euro going up to at least 0.3 of an inch of rainfall. The GFS going up to at least 0.56 of an inch of rainfall. And whatever happens, we'll definitely take it because we're in the month of August. And in Kingston, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the top, we usually receive close to 100 millimeters of rainfall during August. In Montego Bay, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the bottom, we usually receive around 5 inches of rainfall for the month of August. And I would like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish usually receives in terms of rainfall for the month of August or for the entire year, you can visit www.weather-and-climate.com, and that website will show you that information. And you can use this nice graphic right here that converts rainfall from inches to millimeters that we receive on the rain gauge. We know that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall, so you can do the math yourself. Alright, so we're going to be looking at what the next 7 days have in store for us according to the latest Euro and GFS supercomputer model runs that came out today. So keep your eyes focused on the timestamp right here at the top as we go to the next one, just 68 hours. Keep your eyes focused on Jamaica right here as we look for all of this that we see on the key on the right. That's the reds, the oranges, the yellows, and the greens. That represents inches of rainfall. So let's see what's going to be taking place. So we just looked at Saturday's forecast. Now it's time to look at Sunday, and we can see here 12Z on Sunday. We know 12Z stands for 7 a.m. Jamaica time. As you can see, not really much expected for Jamaica, but look at Erin right here. It's expected to be just to the north of Puerto Rico by 7 a.m. on Sunday. Definitely bring some outer bands to Puerto Rico. Then by 18th on Sunday 1 p.m. we see some rainfall across section of Jamaica. Could be central and western parishes. Do we have the agreement on the GFS? First of all, Sunday morning, nothing for Jamaica, but Erin is right there to the north of Puerto Rico, like what the Euro was showing. Then on Sunday afternoon, we see that rainfall across eastern, central, and western parishes. What do we see for Monday morning on the Euro? Some rainfall to our east. Monday afternoon, maybe some rainfall across some southern and eastern parishes. What does the GFS show? Monday morning, rainfall to our southwest, rainfall to our east. Monday afternoon, what do we see? Rainfall across section of some central and eastern parishes as well. What do we see on Tuesday morning? We see rain bands to the north and to the east of us. That's on the Euro though. Tuesday afternoon, we see some rainfall across some southern and even some eastern and western parishes. We'll see. What do we see on the GFS for Tuesday? Tuesday morning, rainfall to our north. Tuesday afternoon, rainfall across some central and eastern parishes. And the thing is, we need to pay close attention to these forecasts now, because the location of Erin by that time, it is not going to be causing that usual east to west kind of flow across the island. So the early part of next week, when Erin is passing to the north of us, we're going to be seeing some interesting weather that we haven't been, that we're not really used to. We're not going to be getting in on that normal easterly flow with the afternoon rainfall across central and western parishes. It could be a bit different. The winds coming out of a different direction, maybe from the south, maybe from the west. And then we get afternoon rainfall in areas that we don't normally get afternoon rainfall. It's going to be a very interesting early part of next week because of the influence that Erin is going to be having across the Greater Antilles. Just because it's right here and we don't have that usual high pressure ridge to the north that's going to be sending an easterly flow, that's going to be, making a very interesting weather pattern next week for sure. Let us see what's expected for Wednesday morning. Wednesday morning, we see some moisture to the south and east of Jamaica. Wednesday afternoon, we see some moisture across eastern, central, and western parishes. What do we see on the GFS for Wednesday morning? Rainfall to the north of us. Then on Wednesday afternoon, rainfall across some central and eastern parishes. What do we see on Thursday morning? On Thursday morning, we see rainfall to the southeast of us. Thursday afternoon, don't really see much of anything, but Erin should be out of here. Then we're going to be stopping it right here at the end of the 168 hours. So this is valid for Friday, August 22. We see some rainfall across far eastern Jamaica. We also see some moisture right here across the leeward and windward islands associated with a tropical wave that the hurricane, that the models were showing on the GFS, showing something very interesting. Let us see. Thursday morning, rainfall to the east of us on the GFS. Thursday afternoon, rainfall across eastern, central, and western parishes. Then we're stopping it right here at the end of the 168 hours. So you see the difference between the Euro and the GFS? Euro has some moisture here across the portion of the eastern Caribbean by Friday, August 22. That's the end of the 168 hours. The same time, Friday, August 22, yes, we're starting to get on the moisture across the eastern Caribbean. But look at where the moisture leads to a lot of contour lines, a lot of isobars associated with a possible tropical system. We see an area of low pressure in there. Could that be another named storm? The fact that we don't see it on the Euro is a very big deal, because you know that the Hurricane Center usually, points out what the Euro is showing. If the Euro was showing that, what the GFS was showing, trust me, they'll put off a code yellow by now, if not over this weekend. We'll see if the Euro start to cave to what the GFS is showing, or my bet is that the GFS is going to drop whatever it's showing. Either way, in terms of the total accumulated precipitation for the next 7 days, both maps right here from the Euro and the GFS are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until Friday, August 22. And we can still see the abundance of rainfall still to come from Hurricane Erin right here. All of the dark reds into the purples, into the pinks, into the peaches, into the blues. That represents anywhere from 2 inches of rainfall all the way up to maybe 10 or more inches of rainfall out to sea. Some of this rainfall definitely going to be affecting a section of the Leeward Island, the 2 all the way up to maybe 3.5 inches of rainfall. We also see some of the similar rainfall totals across portion of northern South America into Central America, so those areas could definitely get on some isolated flash flooding. But if we zoom in on Jamaica's total accumulated precipitation, both maps from the Euro and the GFS right here are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until Friday, August 22. And we see the blues into the greens into the yellows. They represent anywhere from a millimeter of rainfall all the way up to 25, maybe even up to 30 millimeters of rainfall from the eastern end to the western end according to the Euro. The GFS is a bit more robust with the rainfall totals, getting up into the greens, the yellows represent anywhere from 15 all the way up to 53 millimeters of rainfall. We'll see how this actually plays out, and whatever happens, I'll definitely be here to keep you posted with what occurs. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So as stated, we have Hurricane Erin right in here, definitely looking, formidable. All of the high cloud tops spreading out to indicate a very healthy environment. We see the eye trying to formulate somewhere in here, definitely trying to get his act together to become the first major hurricane of the season. I'm pretty sure that they're getting in a lot of rainfall across the Leeward Islands right now. So let us confirm with the latest Doppler radar imagery. And there we have it, a lot of rainfall in and around the area. We know the light to moderate rainfall is represented by the greens, the heavy rainfall, the dark greens into the yellows, oranges, reds. We see that in and around Antigua and Barbuda, just to the northeast of Guadeloupe, in and around the British and US Virgin Islands, definitely getting on that as we speak. If we load the Barbados radar, look at the flow of the rainfall. This is what we're talking about. You notice we don't see that usual easterly flow of rainfall or wind or whatever. Look at the direction the rain is pushing towards. All of this is caused by the circulation of Erin, so they're getting an unusual flow, so they can get some stray rainfall that they're not used to even tonight, if not tomorrow. The north of there, northern Martinique, section of Dominica getting on some rainfall as we speak. The weather, we have Doppler radar images showing some rainfall across the Yucatan, northern Guatemala, Belize, section of Honduras, section of Colombia, northwestern Venezuela, northeastern Venezuela, section of western Cuba. And regarding where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, both maps right here from the Euro and the GFS are adamant that from now up until 10 p.m. on Saturday, these are the spots that are going to be getting the most rainfall. And where we see the greens into the yellows into the oranges and red, that's about an inch or more of rainfall, especially where we have Erin. So across Puerto Rico, the US and British Virgin Islands, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Martin, sections of Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, sections of Montserrat, Guadeloupe, Dominica, sections of Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and Grenadines, Barbados, Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago, section of Guyana, Venezuela, the ABC Islands getting in some rainfall, so too Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, section of Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, section of the Yucatan Peninsula. We also see some rainfall in store for portions of Florida, the Bahamas, Cuba, the Cayman Islands, Jamaica, Haiti, Dominican Republic. And we can clearly see that both the Euro and the GFS modes are in agreement with this forecast. I wonder that when they're in agreement like this, the chances are higher for it to actually take place. Regarding what's happening on the Eastern Pacific side of things, as of their latest update, nothing across the Eastern Pacific right here, and that's because of the infrared. What we see here, we don't see much of anything. Definitely dying down for the time being. All of the activity starting to focus on the Atlantic side of things. Nothing here to talk about. And even over on the Joint Typhoon Warning Center showing the Western Pacific, don't see much of anything over here either. Definitely chilling for the most part. All of the activity starting to ramp up across the Atlantic. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.